Action! Activate!
Dude.
Yes, it's us. It's Action Activate. I am Gazbot, and with me, as always, is
Big Dawg Defender.
That's right. How you doing there, Big Dog?
I'm doing all right. I'm outside again, doing
like
part
it.
2 of the outdoor review. Hopefully the lighting's better. Hopefully the video's better.
Well,
hopefully it stays a little bit cooler as the evening progresses.
It's interesting you say part 2 though, because anybody who's watching this as they come out, this is like a few days after the end of Beast Morphers, the season finale, the series finale aired, and we put those 2 episodes up first. So this is part 2 of that. But if you're watching them in order later on, this is episode 12, but we recorded it. We're all out of order. It's crazy, yep. But because of spoilers and everything else, we did the last 2 episodes. Now we're going back to do the ones that we either didn't watch. Well, I watched all of them, and Big Dog watched most of them. But we didn't review them or talk to each other about them. So we're working on episode 12, depending on your numbering, but 12 of this season 2, and it's called, is it Finders Keepers or Finders Keeper?
It is, I believe, Finders Keeper.
Which makes more sense when we get into the episode.
Finders Keepers, sorry.
Okay, right. I guess they didn't want to give it away too much. But it's interesting because normally we watch these episodes as they're coming out and comment on them and hypothesize what's going to happen and stuff. We can't really do that because not only have we seen this episode, but we've seen the entire rest of the season. Mm-hmm. The good news is, though, we're doing this the way we did the finale, which is we're gonna talk about it, then we're gonna watch it live together, and then comment on it afterwards. A few people have said they like that format, so we're gonna try it out on an episode that isn't the oh my gosh everything's happening. It's weird though because on the one hand we're not gonna have those dramatic moments that we had at the finale, at least not so much, but also we have seen it. So even if this is a crazy good episode, we'll still have some reactions, but it's the reaction of someone who has seen it before. Yeah. So we'll probably talk over it more.
Yeah. The other thing, for those of you who are fans of the movie Memento, or most things by Quentin Tarantino, because we're going out of order, obviously when we review this, we've seen it once before. We kind of know what's going to happen after that. So a little more theorizing than you're used to on Action Activate, but
a little less theorizing, no?
Did I say more?
Yeah.
I meant less, sorry.
Okay,
a little less theorizing and a little more just kind of, I don't know.
Enjoying it?
Yeah. No, not even enjoying it because I enjoy it both times.
Right.
But I think this is much more of a traditional review structure of us being able to, take out any inherent recency bias and just be like, we've seen this. We've seen where it goes. Just taking this episode as it is, what do we think? And that's going to be cool.
Well,
also, the benefit.
Good.
Oh, I was going to say the benefit is since we've already seen it, we have a lot more feedback live where we're not missing something like those previous live episodes where we'd be like, "Oh, that's really cool," and then like
right. Well, that's to say we'll probably talk over it more. I'm still going to cut out any dead air, but maybe there won't be a lot. It's interesting though because there's a lot of Power Rangers reviews, channel shows, whatever out there, and I feel like our format was different before because of the way we'd sort of break it down and we'd show slides and have our notes even if we weren't showing slides. Most of the time, well, often it's one person, sometimes it's 2, but usually it's just sort of like, I watched the episode last night, here's what I thought, and they kind of recap as best they can. And we're switching now to we're kind of doing that, but we're also recording ourselves watching it live. So I'm sure there might be somebody else that does this, but we're switching formats, but it's still not the standard review format that most people do. Yeah. So
2 Action Activate exclusive formats just here for you, people.
There might be someone else doing it, but certainly not the norm.
No one else has ever thought of this idea. We're the first to coin it, pun intended, and go for it.
But if you do or don't like it, let us know because nothing's set in stone. We're kind of experimenting around here. The other thing I realized though is it's also kind of not a fair test because like the real test would be to watch a regular episode, not a finale, but one that we hadn't seen before. we can't do that until like I don't know, a year from now, or well, yeah. Although we might do some classic reviews this way, so maybe that might be something. Yeah.
It's actually funny. I was going through some of the comments on previous videos and kind of giving my 2 cents on some, and then I went back and rewatched the Overdrive episode we did.
Right. Well, I could see why you'd want to revisit
Operational
that.
Drive is my favorite season.
You know, I mean, I understand why you'd want to go back to that. It just makes perfect
Cue
sense.
clip so I don't talk over myself.
Sorry, what? What do you mean? No, go ahead. Continue, please.
Okay. But it was funny seeing Lil Dawg and Arazuki in the mix, and Gazbot and I on two very ends of the spectrum. Also, it made me appreciate Beast Morphers that much more because, man,
Because of the things about Beast Morphers that you were reminded of in Overdrive. You're like, oh, some of the awesome stuff in Overdrive they brought over to Beast Morphers, so it's sort of makes it closer to my favorite season.
Kind of like what I said in some of the previous reviews, we wouldn't have Beast Morphers if it wasn't for those previous seasons, and I think they learned a lot from Overdrive.
Right.
Well.
Yeah. I would expect nothing less from you to say that. I expect that. Yes, that makes sense.
Yep. Less talk, more action. Activate. Let's get to this review, guys.
All right, we're gonna have to sync it up here. So let me minimize this.
Tell me when you're hovering on the play button.
It's all black screen. I'm hovering on the play button. I'm ready when you are.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rangers.
Press play. We did it the opposite way last time.
Yeah, I know.
Previously on Beast Morphers.
The good thing is I watched 9 episodes in like 2 days a week ago, so I actually kind of forget already.
Yeah. I really like Ryjack. He is aesthetically pleasing, and I hope they make a figure of him.
I agree.
Probably
won't buy it though, unless it's Lightning Collection.
Oh, I will for sure. You know me.
I know you. Well, no, it's good. We need different types of fans to support.
Yeah, as long as he has the shield and sword, I'll be sold.
Keep a close
The
eye on it.
sword, I would say yes. Shield, I don't know. Okay, so Finders Keepers, officially the title.
Rangers, give me a search update.
Devin here. No sign
Using
of
Cruz
Ryjack
as a motorcycle.
Yeah,
I like
fair,
it.
Fair.
Running through the forest. Okay.
Because he's like a gorilla.
We have to find it, period. The relics in Ryjack's ship are too dangerous in the wrong hands.
I'm heading northwest.
Oh, right.
So far, there's no sign of.
They're looking for Ryjack's ship. I forgot what they were looking for.
Found it. Sector Zulu.
That's a cool looking ship, by the way.
Yeah,
Zoe,
it reminds
stay
me
put.
of Sledge's
Everyone
ship a
else
little
head to
bit.
her location.
I can see that, but it looks more stealthy. It looks like the cool version of Sledge's ship.
Yeah.
What? Rangers, there's an intruder heading for Ryjack's ship. Zoe, wait for backup. But if there's somebody heading this way,
It tells Zoe to wait for
I don't have time to
backup,
wait.
and she ignores the order
sit
and
tight
heads
till we
in.
get there.
Which is, I love her and hate her at the same time in this scene.
Yeah, I know.
That ship is really cool.
Yeah. I like how its first thing is like, oh yeah, we're just gonna blow up.
Yeah.
The second somebody tries to go here, it's a, we're calling it.
Yeah, I also feel like she should have been able to jump away from that with her jump powers, but whatever, caught her off guard. But yeah, I'm bummed because that's a cool ship that they just blew up immediately. But yeah, if that was my ship, I'd want it to lock down, fire lasers, something, you know.
Yeah,
But
something other than blow up.
yeah, because if Ryjack was still around, he's now stranded.
Yeah.
My money's on the Rangers. Go counter Rangers.
I never noticed it before, but very often Scrozzle is in an elevated position above Evox.
Yeah.
You know, like physically, he's on his little platform very often.
You can use the weapons in his collection to make new fighters. Go now.
Good plan. Like,
Yeah.
hey, anything you find, just make an army. Like,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
go for it.
I am surprised how much stuff survived, considering how demolished the ship is.
Yeah.
But yet every legend. I mean, maybe the weapons are like, you know, infused with morphin energy or something, so they're like indestructible.
Check it out.
Snide sword.
Snide sword.
Yes.
Nice.
First thing I thought when I saw that is like, okay, they're gonna bring Snide back.
Let's
Campbell Cooley's gonna be doing dueling voices. Come on, let's do it. Let's
I know,
do it.
right?
Yeah. Nice.
Where am I? And who are you?
Snide is awesome.
Yeah.
We're your new best friends.
Interesting.
That's Zoe. The others must be close.
Stay out of sight.
Or they could just destroy her.
That bothered me because they could have just started firing at every other weapon. There was 3-on-1.
That's the
Yeah.
intruder.
Yeah. That
Keeper.
part bothered me
Moist.
a lot.
A compliance collar.
Oh, somebody in the comments, I forget who
For
it was.
Lost Galaxy. Yep.
Yeah, they're from Lost Galaxy, which I did not catch.
I
which
didn't
is-
either.
Which is awesome. I'm sorry, whoever that was that reminded us of
I
that.
want to say it was Matt Kendall Clare, but I'm not 100% sure.
It was one of our regulars, but I'm sorry, I don't have my notes. Now, obviously, that we all knew that was Keeper, but she didn't because he was turned around, I guess, or she didn't do her Ranger history.
You really should have waited for us, Zoe.
Yeah, you really should have waited.
Are you okay?
I think so.
I like how Ravi was the only one on foot, and they all got there at the same time.
Warned us about. I stopped him with the compliance collar. Come here.
Wait.
I feel like Keeper looks
think I
better in this
recognize
episode than he did in a
me
lot of
too
the
from
Dino
Ranger
Charge
history
episodes.
Potentially.
Like the CGI on his mouth and eyes were a
Are
little
you-
more consistent.
Keeper?
That is correct. I came to retrieve
Not
the relic
amazing,
that
but
Ryjack
better.
stole.
Keeper's on our side.
I think it was animatronic before is why.
I thought he was trying to steal
I just remember a lot of times the mouth
Let's get
didn't
him
move
back
at
to the lab
all.
So I can remove the
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe it was exactly like
You guys
this.
take
And again,
any
I don't
valuable
love the effect on it,
Okay.
but it just seemed consistent. So I'm giving it points for
Sorry,
consistency.
This way.
Said
yeah.
staff.
belong to Lord Zed.
Yeah. Again, one of the reasons I'm like, are they talking about Lord Zed? Goldar.
Some pretty nasty folk. We better get it all.
Goldar sword.
Yep.
Oh, great blaster.
Sledges,
Sledge.
blaster.
Thank you.
As soon as he put it in, I knew. I was like, no. I love that it's Vivek's driving, and there's like,
Yeah.
like yeah, the Vivek's had to like shake his fist out the window. Like that's so not a
And
necessary
I
part
like how
of
they're like, when they directed him, they're like, all right, I know you have this weird like Tompa shield weapon thing. Like you gotta just like, ha ha ha. with it.
Yeah. And is that the one that's driving, or is there someone else driving and they're kind of leaning out from the back? Because they were like halfway out the window, looking the opposite way. But I love it. It was completely unnecessary. And actually, it was necessary to show people, hey, the Viveks are driving it. But
Yeah. When we watched the intro, I missed that sword that Zoe used.
oh, the
The
spin,
spin
yeah,
sword.
yeah.
They almost never use it.
I was thinking they were going to use it again towards the end. I was like kind of waiting to see it again. But yeah, you're right. We never saw it again.
Yeah.
Get Ryjack's collection back to base. Got it. We'll go after him.
Good job, split up, divide and
Ready?
conquer.
Let's morph. Cruz, warm up those engines. We can't lose Keeper.
So having seen the crossover
we,
back
no,
in the
we
day,
don't. Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I know why they keep splitting up and why he's in motorcycle mode a lot more in these
Oh,
episodes.
because you saw the Sentai movie crossover you're talking about.
Yeah, like years
Gotcha.
ago.
Okay. No, that's fine. I thought you were going to talk about episodes after this, which we should try to avoid.
No,
Yeah.
No, I'm going to. Yeah.
I
I'm
really
going
like
to
this
avoid
scene.
it, I mean.
This
Yeah, this
scene feels
scene's
very.
good.
It's fun, but it also feels very old school Sentai. Just like, but kind of like I was saying in one of the Gavon episodes, just like motorcycle being shot at, Ravi's hanging off the side, Zoe's hanging off the side. I don't know, it feels very like 70s or 80s to me for some reason.
Yeah. I love that shot of like teams like jumping over. I
Yes.
missed that.
Yeah.
Deal with the Viveks fast. We need to get to that truck.
So, I have seen this episode, but when I was watching it, I was pretty psyched because we just saw the Galvan crossover, and I was like, oh, there's Keeper, and they're setting up the Viveks. Oh, they're getting ready for the Dino crossover. I wonder when that's going to happen. And then these guys showed up. Like, what? Right
here.
now? Right now? Like, it really shocked me. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I thought it was coming up still.
We lost contact.
And that's
after we
definitely
found
Brandon
Ryjack's
Mejia.
ship.
Over there.
Well, we know it's all these Rangers are doing the voices because we see the actors show up later. Spoiler.
Yeah. This is for sure American because we only see 4 Rangers.
Yeah.
You got it. We're surrounded.
Now, you notice there's Putties, Viveks, and
It's about to get wild.
that was a
Forget
cool
the
spin that
name,
Black
but the
did.
Dino Thunder
The Dino
stuff.
Thunder ones. Yeah, they don't comment on it, but it's a good, again, setup that there's going to be more crossover. Black did an awesome spin. I didn't notice the first time.
Yeah.
You notice Red Tyler said it's about to get wild.
Yep.
Was that a catchphrase of Dino Charge?
Yeah, it
okay.
is.
I didn't remember that. I mean, I always remember Dino
I
Charger's
did.
ready and like, yeah, because it gets used a few times and like I just really noticed it every time. I'm like, I didn't remember that, but I guess it was. Okay.
Yeah, I remember, and I appreciated it nonetheless.
You old wizard.
As you wish.
Oh, keeper.
Move it, come on.
I also like how the caller works for literally anybody giving orders.
It just it just makes him compliant, is how I
Yeah.
took it.
Keeper! No! Stop!
Oh, we're too late. He's gone.
How we get him back?
We come bearing gifts.
Took you long enough.
See how Scrozzle is like he's, and then
Elevated,
he
yeah.
comes down to their level to have a conversation.
Makes him as tame as a pussycat.
He must have lots of knowledge about the Rangers.
Knowledge we can use to defeat them. Not defeat, destroy them. Exactly. Now,
Similar but different, but okay.
Ranger secrets.
Very well. It began with the ancient power of the Energems.
I don't know why, but when we saw that scene, it reminded me of the
I
Goonies.
must say, these weapons
In what
are
way?
formidable.
When they're like, start from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
and
I thought I agree. I thought he was gonna passively resist and be like, in the beginning there was,
You
but
put the compliance collar on him. Why did you do that?
And I told you to stay back from the ship, but you didn't.
both good
Causing the
points.
explosion.
She was just trying to help.
No, they're right.
Good for
I
you,
should have
Zoe.
waited like you said. It's my fault.
Zoe, most humble ranger there is.
Her heart's always in the
I'm
right
really
place.
sorry
She
about
rushed
Keeper.
in, made a mistake.
But I'm gonna bring him back.
She owns
I
up to it.
promise.
We will bring him back.
Because our teamwork is unbeatable. Spoken like true Rangers.
We work together. Crush monsters.
I always wonder because we've seen Coda come back a few times now, and it's unclear if they're being pulled out of the middle of their timeline or if this is present day Coda. Because I keep thinking like at some point his English should get better, right? I mean like
Never.
never. Okay.
Yeah, they just kind of let it be.
We can build something to defeat them. But I must have those Energems. Then perhaps Snide is your man for the job. I could lure those Dino Freak Rangers into a trap.
Get the
with
dual
Keeper
coolies right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Should be fun.
Dually coolie. It's a Campbell scramble.
There you go.
Commander, we have an incoming message. Put it on the main monitor.
I love seeing the Dino Charge Rangers
is it?
in Grid Battle
Let's
Force.
find out.
Yeah.
For some reason, I find that more exciting than even when they're fighting together.
That's Evox. And that's Snide. He's a fiend indeed.
I hope you've
That's a
missed
good line
me,
read.
Rangers, because I have something you want. Keeper is useless to me, so you can have your friend back if you give me Ryjack's collection of weapons.
I don't think we should.
It's a deal.
A wise decision. I'll send you the location to meet.
This surprised me.
Commander, the weapons.
Yeah,
Keeper
it surprised me
knows
too.
too much. We
And at
need
first
to
I
rescue
thought
him.
she like had a plan,
back.
you know, like
Keeper's
oh
the top
no, like
priority.
but she
I promise.
legitimately thought Keeper was worth
Say
more.
Keeper.
But it was weird, not because he's a living being, but like it was still a strategic decision. But yeah,
But it worked out, yeah.
yeah.
And then I like how Tyler's like, yeah, like I knew you guys have this plan and all, but like, Keeper's gonna live. Like, we
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
make-
like nothing else mattered. And fair enough, like
yeah.
Stay on your guard, guys.
Also, when we saw the trunk open, you noticed that most of the weapons were from the Dino Charge generals.
right. I didn't, but yes.
I think that's close enough. Put the relics
Now he's got his
down
shield.
and back right off. Good boys.
Isn't a Scross?
Package.
I don't remember that shield from Dino Charge either.
It's not from Dino Charge.
Seize this. Thank
God.
you,
Oh, because they
Rangers.
used that suit in Dino Charge. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sentai things.
Give us Keeper.
yeah, I'll explain
Yeah.
that after.
Deals are made to be broken. Move aside, Keeper. You're not going anywhere.
Can't he see how they're all standing in a line
If you're gonna
and what that
break
usually
promise,
means?
Now's the time.
You
Oh, yeah,
mean
'cause
it's
he's got
about to
an
go
axe.
wild?
Yeah. But yeah, he's got an axe instead of the sword, which is funny considering they used the sword to bring him back to life.
For us. It's Morphin time! Activate Beast Mode! Dino Charger! Ready! Unleash the power!
I always love seeing old morphs, man.
and it works now because the actors all look pretty much the same, but sometimes they use older actors and they reuse the old footage, and it's like, they don't really look like that anymore.
Yeah. Go ahead, Commander.
There's a Gigadrone incoming. Downtown, Sector Bravo 3-6.
Roger that.
Go. We've defeated Snide once, and we'll do it again.
Great. Come on, team.
I
Let's go.
feel like not all of the Beast Morphers needed to go. We've shown multiple times that like just a couple of them could take the Gigadrone.
Sentai footage in 3, 2,
Sure.
1.
This made me happy though because I was like, oh, here comes Shelby and Riley, and they wrote it in.
Not long enough. Some things just stay nasty.
Unclear if those are the actors original.
I'm
guessing no.
99% sure it is not.
I tried looking at credits and it just says TBA or TBD or whatever. But I was bummed they weren't in it, and I figured they'd show up in a group fight, but they did a good enough job writing it in. It was like a surprise. And I'm talking over this fight, but I love this fight. And I'm guessing it's all Sentai.
Really good.
It's one of the best fights I've seen. One of the best fights I've seen.
It's funny that it's not our main Ranger team.
Right, yeah. But I feel like it's better than a lot of the ones we saw in Dino Charge even. It's just like, I guess maybe because it's from the movie, they amped it up a little bit, but it's just, I don't know, it's really fun. A lot of good, everything. I don't know, I just really like it. It's fast. It's like, it just moves, you know?
If there's one thing I learned from the comments of our previous videos, is that Hasbro spent a lot more than normal for this season.
Yes, I've learned that recently too.
I love these Sentai-like specials that they like make a generic name for.
Well, but it's English, so it sounds cool.
Yeah. Victory, final strike!
I always had the idea to do like an American Sentai like parody, and the guy's henshin would be Shinjuku Dori, which is just Dory. It's the name of a street. It's like, but it sounds really cool, and I feel like that's what they do. They find an English word that sounds cool.
Yeah. Like in Dexter's lab with omelette du fromage, cheese omelet.
There you go. And here you go.
Oh yeah.
Get ready to meet Sledge.
Now, none of these characters have collars, though. I realize, like they're sort of just sort of falling in line to the more powerful bad guy, I guess. But like Snide and Sledge didn't get along, so it's interesting. They're like, oh, his old friend, but whatever.
I do like how when he got resurrected, it was literally like right after he died.
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree. That was really cool.
This Gigazord reminds me a lot of the Jungle Master Megazord. Like a lot.
I can see that. I did not love the Jungle Master Megazord, so I'm okay with that. You notice the things on his arms? They kind of look like rectangles with colored stripes. Kind of remind me of the thing. Well, now I am talking about a future episode, but at some point Scrozzle's handed something that looks like that. But I guess that's just props, like unification.
Yeah.
I don't think it means anything.
Yeah, I'm still like the base Gold Zord and the base Red Zord are like some of my favorites in the whole season.
Agreed.
Like I almost don't like them combining into a Megazord.
I agree. Most of the Megazords in this, they're not my least favorite of all time, but yeah. Which is, for me, makes sense, but for you is surprising, because you usually like the Ultra whatever.
Exactly.
Straight from the tower. Not for much longer.
Alright, they beat up on the Jungle Master, Tron.
Do you notice the smiley face on the Gold Zord now? Next time they show him, look at it.
Look again.
The visor, the red visor is the mouth, like a big smiley mouth.
Oh, now
See
I
it?
do, yeah.
He's got the two little eyes. Like
Dang it, I really wish I didn't know that.
Oh,
now.
I can't unsee it. It's like a cartoon.
I know, yeah.
But it's kind of funny when he's firing. He's like, ah!
Oh, thankfully we went well past the Cheetah Beast Blaster because it's my least favorite part of that.
I was gonna shut up, and I'm like, no, it's better if I keep talking, so we don't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such a good fight.
Sledge?
Guess who's back?
Now, Sledge is American only, isn't he?
Correct. I think they splice American and not in this.
Yeah. Oh, because I saw
if you
Sledge
look-
there.
Yeah, if you look in the shuffle, I don't think we see Sledge very often.
And that first scene, we definitely saw him charge into the background. But there's a lot of one-on-one fights here. Again, these are all really... That was an awesome move that Gold did, that little flippy thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, look at it. Everybody's just like.
I know. This I'm pretty sure is like well-spliced Sentai.
Yeah, but it's.
That's American. This is
Oh
American.
yeah, well obviously because Sledge.
Well, this you can tell just because the camera differences in the last like 8 years or so are like night and day.
I don't think it's night and day. I think it blends pretty well actually.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying this is more noticeable than like normal Sentai transitions, if that makes sense.
I know what you're saying,
Like-
but has technology changed that much in a few years?
Yes.
All right.
Think of an iPhone 3 and an iPhone 10.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm enjoying this fight. I'm only half talking to you. It's such a good fight. And then Sledge runs back in. Yeah.
Shut it, Sledge. We need to get those energens.
Not so fast.
I don't remember Poisandra having a weapon that much in Dino Charge.
No. I don't remember her fighting. Like she would scheme and she'd like set things up, but I don't remember her.
Here.
Thanks.
Admirable firing, friends.
Yeah, see, they used guns.
Got you.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh, great fight and guns.
We're getting you out of here, Keeper.
Thank you.
Quickly, this way.
Hurry! Let's get to safety while they're down. Come on, move out.
That's an odd choice.
I know.
Like we're all fine, they're all down. There's now double the team.
This is your
Yeah, Zoe could have left with Keeper and they could have stayed.
Tell it to Evox.
Almost got it.
I like how for what was
There.
the Vargoyle, they just blasted it off, and this one they're like, all right, we got to be real careful. Like when it could have just like slashed it off.
Mammoth Beast.
Well, I thought they accidentally slashed it off last time.
What's a mammoth?
Steel.
Nothing.
What's a mammoth?
We're happy
That's
to
the
have you
team up
back.
I wanted. Was Coda and Steel.
That would be a good team up.
I'd say this is cause for celebration, but it might be too early.
It's true. Your foes are yet to be defeated.
Keeper, are you sure you don't remember what happened when you were Evox's prisoner?
Or what they did with your staff?
I'm afraid I have no recollection.
Whatever they're up to, we can handle it. We're a team.
And you very smart, very strong.
I'm
Sorry
glad
we
they're
can't stay
consistent
longer.
about
We'll
the
get back to
like
our team.
mind
We have our
control
own
stuff.
responsibilities
Yeah.
at home.
It's been great to find.
I'm glad that all the Dino Charge actors got to say some lines and do some stuff.
Safe
Exactly.
travels.
My ladies.
Although this is the standard trope of, well, we gotta go.
See you
Why?
around. Hopefully next time.
Keep her staying there, right? And
Yeah.
every villain they would fight is there. I mean, there was the fire guy, I forget his name, but like
Farewell, friends.
most of their villains and their mentor are there. So why are they? What are they leaving for?
Quite an adventure.
I think now that we're rewatching it, it makes more sense when you watch them all together why it's kind of spaced like this, other than just like, hey, we can't have these guys in every episode.
You were only trying to do
It-
the
well,
right thing.
It's weird for me too because I accidentally watched them out of order. I watched this is part one. I watched part one and then part three and then part two, because they're labeled stupidly. Going back to the numbering, the next part, this is 12. The next part is 22.
Evox might
Yeah.
So shockingly, I didn't watch that one next.
We need to stay on
It's a
top.
nitpick. I really like this episode actually. I thought it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I like Dino Charge. I like seeing the Dino Charge people come back. It'd be nice if they all came back, but you know, I'll take what I could get. But it does seem weird that they, like at the end of this episode, they're just like, well, we gotta go. Oh, there was no Ben and Betty in that at all. Did they show up even for a second?
No.
No. That's always weird to me. You could like throw them in the background. They don't have to have a gag. They could just walk in and be like, good job, guys, or you know, whatever.
And it's funny that we always notice it right at the end of like, oh, there wasn't something that left a bad taste in my mouth half the time. Oh.
Well, that's what I
No,
say.
I love the characters.
but it could
we
be-
disagree. Their
Yeah,
jokes are like
yes, but that's why on an episode like this, they're short on time. They could just be in the command because half the time they're just standing there anyway. So you just have them be like, "Boy, cool, dinosaur rangers," and then like whatever, and then they leave, you know. So
I think the scheduling for sure had to play. I think all these were shot at the same time, like in weird kind of orders.
probably, and also probably just for time because they had to pack so much in. When I watched this, like I said the first time, I did not expect it to be a Dino crossover episode. I wasn't
I
even
didn't
sure
either.
if it was going to be a multiple part or not. I was hoping it would be. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like despite the little nitpicks I said, I really like this a lot. And part of it is because I like Dino Charge and I like those actors. So yeah, and that fight scene, like I everything negative I have to say about it, I just said. otherwise, it's great. I really liked it. In terms of crossovers, it's one of the better ones, I think. In general, it doesn't have the grandeur of like Dimensions in Danger or Forever Red, where they have like multiples coming back. But just thinking of it like when Time Force crossed over with like Lightspeed Rescue or whatever, like when there's just like one team crossing over with the other, it's very good. I think it's very good.
I agree. I think like the cool thing about this season is, like you said, we don't have like we do and don't have necessarily the like big grandiose crossovers. Like I like a little bit here, a little bit there, and keep it like consistent. Where like we said, we're like, oh man, we're hyping up to the big episode where Jason comes back, and it's like, oh, Jason isn't even in this episode. What? They're still crossing over? Oh my gosh, we still have more? Oh my gosh.
Yes,
there was Chaco in the previous one?
Yes, yeah, because it was like, okay, well, and again, I was thinking, well, they just did Chaco, so there's going to be some kind of filler episode. Oh, Keeper's in it, so they're just going to like let us know that it's going to be happening. But no, it just jumped right in. When they came through that portal, I was like, what? So yeah, very cool. Yeah, my only complaint, other than the ones I've said, like I said, is that I watch them out of order because of the stupid numbering system. But
yeah.
I guess if I was watching it on the air, that wouldn't be a problem. But as we know, because of the powers that be made weird decisions, that's not how we're watching them, unfortunately.
Well, the funniest part is the only reason I watched them in order is because you sent me a list of them in order that you clearly did not follow.
No, I did not. Because I was just gonna watch all of them. Like there was a couple that were like technically skippable, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna watch all of them. That's fine. And once I watched this one, I'm like, oh, well, the next one's the next part of the Dino Charge one, Dino crossover, and so it just made sense. And the numbering where I got them from went by the like correct numbering, which every episode basically has 3 numbers. It has the number they aired in that season, the number they say it is, and the number in the sequence of the entire show. And so it's better to go by titles.
I think to me there's 2. There's the number that it like appears on IMDb, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is episode 12.
Yes.
And it's consistently episode 12.
Yeah.
The next one you should watch before 13, but is technically called 22.
Why don't they just call it 12 and a half or call that 13? Like I don't understand why they do that. Like it makes like sometimes I think it's dumb, but I can understand like, oh, this was meant to be shown at the end and it's a clip show and they decided to throw it in the middle. But this is clearly a 3-part story. How was the second part ever going to be episode 22? Ever. It never was.
I think because that's how they shot them.
Doesn't matter.
I think they have to stick to the shooting order in terms of labeling the episodes.
What?
If they're working...
What? Where are you making that up from? I'm not saying...
Because we're going to find out when we review it again, but the next episode is a clip show.
Yeah, it is a clip show, but it's connective tissue between the two, and there is some forward momentum on the plot.
But they could shoot it well after, and then that's why I think it's 22. Because they shoot 20.
Look, shooting out of order, I get you. I mean, shows are shot out of order all the time. I understand that. But like, they don't normally go, well, we shot this one 5th, so we're gonna have to call it number 5, even though it's the second one we show. They don't normally do that. Like whatever the air order is, that's the number it gets, you know?
They could finish the regular season and then shoot 21 and 22 simultaneously from this season and then sprinkle them in story-wise, which is probably what they did. Because 21 is almost all hero. 22 is
but
less
22,
so.
Having not watched 22 appropriately in the right spot, I watched the third, and again, we're talking about stuff that we haven't reviewed yet, but when I watched the third part of the crossover, there were things in it. I'm like, well, where'd that come from? And like stuff like specifically about Goldar, for example. And I'm like, really? That's okay, you know. And so watching the episode that went in between, I'm like, oh, this fills in some gaps. So it isn't something they could just drop in anywhere, or at least they shouldn't. And I don't think they ever intended to. I think you're right. They filmed it out of order, whatever. But the idea that they have to number it, the order they filmed it, that can't be a thing. That can't be a thing.
Do I agree it's annoying? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a problem that we and a small subset of people have? Yes. I've acknowledged it. You didn't look at the list that you sent me, so that's kind of on you.
It didn't ruin the show. But you know what? Let's just move on.
All right. Verdict for the episode, having rewatched it.
I still like it a lot. I like it better than both of the Captain Chaku crossover episodes.
I agree.
I mean, partially... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say solid A- for me.
I'll give it an A. I partially it does get extra points because these are characters and actors I already know. But even just story-wise, like, it just made more sense. Held together was more exciting. And even though theoretically it'd be nice to have a two-parter like with Captain Chaku, maybe it's better they didn't because it was just so. I mean, it becomes part of a bigger story, but yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Yeah, I'll give it an A.
I do too. The only reason I don't give it an A is because I know, and we've already reviewed some, there are episodes later on this season that I like more. And now looking at it back, this is not bad. I don't want you to think it's bad. But if I have to put, would I like this better than episode blah, blah, blah?
You
No,
could like it
but
equally.
I still really like it.
You could like
Yeah.
it equally. Well,
No, there's some
but
that
also
have the edge to A.
well, there's also A plus.
I know.
Okay.
But you also know I use A plus very sparingly.
I guess I don't remember you ever using an A plus yet.
I did.
Oh, maybe in the finale episodes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I acknowledge and I agree with what you're saying about like weighing against other things. Although it is weird because had we not seen those, you might have given this an A plus or an A rather because you gave it an A minus. But you're like, well, I know there's episodes I like better later, so we can't avoid that. That's where your head's at. But I'm thinking the same thing, and even knowing what's to come, I still give it an A. And I think it'll be interesting when we get to certain episodes, we might have different levels on other episodes.
I agree. This episode, I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it because of the surprises, and I really enjoyed it watching it again. The thing that I found watching it the second time is things that upset me more the first time upset me less this time. And what I mean by that is like not necessarily character flaws, but like Zoe frustrated me a lot more the first time around where I was a little disappointed. Whereas this time I'm like, I kind of get it.
Right.
So,
well, and you expected it. Like the first time you were surprised, like, what? Why would you do that? Whereas now you're like, oh, well, you know.
It worked out.
Yeah. This is completely random. But do you see how my shirt, it says Flynn's, but it's flipped backwards. And yours says Hulk and it's forward. There's some setting that at some point I mirrored everything. I'm just on me. I don't know how I did it or why I did it or when I did it. And I keep forgetting to look to flip it back. Why does that matter? It doesn't really, except a while back we were doing some toy videos and I was showing my Thunder Megazord. Was my Thunder Megazord? Yeah, my Thunder Megazord. And there was a comment about the sword being on the wrong side. And I'm like, it's not. And I looked at it and I looked at reference. I'm like, no, it's totally on the right side. It was on the wrong side for people watching because it's flipped. Yeah, so it's just a weird thing. But I'll make sure to remember to forget to do that before next time we record.
Good thing to remember to forget.
Yeah. That's kind of all I got. I liked this episode, and I was super pumped when I saw it. Super excited to see the next episode. Super shocked that the dino stuff showed up so soon. Yeah. I think
I don't know. Like, yeah. I mentioned this in our previous review that once again, if you're watching these in order, you're going to see weird emotions all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that we get to go back to these because I don't want to let go of this season yet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still so just like wanting to.
Well, and it's good that
it's
good that we're coming back to it on another big event, as opposed to just like, oh look, it's Ravi having trouble with his art and his mom, like something that would be like, like after what we just saw.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting once we get through this Dino crossover arc, the episodes in between, to see where we land on those. But until then, I've been Gazbot,
Big Dawg Defender,
and
to the power. See you guys later.
I'm gonna put on the end credits. You notice there are no credits over the end credits. I think.
Oh, at the very end, or with us?
No, at all. Like we're walking and the music's playing, and that's normally where credits would scroll over it or show up or whatever. But I think at some point I thought I would put credits, like you and me and whatever, Patreon, whatever, I guess. But I never did because it was extra work that day and I forgot about it, and we've been doing it for like 2 years. I've been calling it end credits for 2 years, and there are no credits whatsoever at all.
Thank you to everybody who comments, likes, subscribes, and who's been a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
gals. And alien beings if you're around there.
Or snow people.